Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's live stream. We had a change in plans for our meeting. It's going to be online, and I have somebody else leading it. So it frees me up here this morning to do the thing that I love doing. And with that, if you're here for the first time, my name's Tyler. Really glad that you're here this morning. Thanks for joining me. During the live streams, we're going to be pointing out order flow. We're going to be talking about price action. We're going to be talking about ICT concepts. So it's going to be a good time here this morning, and we're going to help navigate you through all of that. If you're watching this after the fact, you can jump to the key markers using the timeline below. And lastly, if you're looking to take your trading to the next level, Apex has just announced an 80% off sale where you can get an Apex account, eval account, for 80% off using the code DTJ. You can use the code DTJ, and that'll give you the most updated discount Apex is offering. That gives you it's $29 for a 25K account or $33 for a 50K account as of right now through the 30th. With that, let's go ahead and open in prayer, and then let's rock and roll this morning. Father, we just honor you this morning. We settle our hearts, our minds, our emotions. Father, we put our focus and our attention on you. Thank you that you are the provider for all of our needs according to your riches and glory in Christ Jesus. Thank you that your promises are yes and amen. And Father, we just choose to fix our eyes upon the author and finisher of our faith, Jesus Christ. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your blessing. I pray for everyone here that they would see increase, not only in their trading, but increase in their personal life, in their spiritual life, in their relational lives. In Jesus' name, amen. Good morning, Byron, Tony, Wilhelm, Dominic, Mary, good morning. Forex Mind, good morning. Thanks, mate. Great to be here. God bless you. Stoked that you love the Lord. From South Africa. Awesome. Welcome. Ted, good morning. Fight for your families. Amen. Awesome. Welcome, Fight for your families. It's a heck of a name if I'm going to call you out every time. But I like the title for sure. C, good morning. DH, good morning. Glad to have you guys here this morning. Well, let's go ahead and dive in, and let's take a look at what the market is actually doing here this morning. When we do an analysis, we always have to start from a higher time frame perspective. If you don't, you're missing it. If you're not doing what we do every single morning, you're shooting yourself in the foot. And that's the last thing we want to do. So what do? We start from a daily perspective. You can start from a weekly and monthly if you really want and get a big macro perspective. But here's where we are right now. So we have the two higher time frame key levels that I've been watching since yesterday. We have these relatively equal highs right here. Okay, those are marked on a lower time frame. These equal highs I really like. And then we have our Friday's equilibrium. I also like this level down here. I would prefer this to be ran first. If we run this first, then there's a good chance we're going to run higher and we can have a narrative for price action over the next week or so. So why do I say that? Friday's equilibrium has a high probability of being ran. It's just it's almost a guarantee. And then we have a volume imbalance. We treat these volume imbalances as targets until they're overlapped, until they're closed, or until a candle's body is laying over them. So what do we have left? We have this portion of this volume imbalance. Everything above that or above these equal highs has not been tagged yet. So that is an area of interest. So now that we have that idea, let's zoom in into yesterday's price action and today's candle. We have yesterday's high and low already marked out. We haven't hit neither the high or the low. So the question is this going to be an inside day, a fake break day, one where it's constantly faking like it's wanting to run, but it actually doesn't? Or do we see it hit one of these highs or lows? So we have that previous day high and that previous day low. Here's our buy side liquidity of those equal highs that I mentioned earlier. sitting at the highs. This is ultimately one of my targets, and this is my next target. So now that we have, number one, we have our targets. Doesn't mean it has to hit it, but we can use these as potential draws on liquidity. Now that we know that, we need to go down to step number two. Step number two is figuring out the narrative. How is price going to move towards one of these levels? It has to pick one. It can't do both. How is it going to move? And that is where we start looking at lower time frame targets to figure out how price will go up and down. Right now, we've already ran London low. We're going to drop down. We're currently in the 4-hour time frame. We've swept this low, the London low down here, and that is followed by or previous a bullish candle right here. So because we've ran the London low, and if we move lower, we have two options. We could continue to sell off to run for the previous day low, which is our easy targets. It's either the previous day low or previous day high. Which one is it going to run for? It doesn't have to hit it, but we can use those as reasons that why we think price is going to run a specific direction. So we marked out our London high. I also marked out our previous day PM session high. Okay, if we were to remove, or if we jump to regular trading hours down here, you would see that the closest swing high would be this level up here. So we have our points of interest. Now, we've been in a pretty consolatory manner right now. And if we drop down to the 15-minute, price really has not been moving much outside of the ranges that we've seen here. And we don't have much structure, good structure. This, to me, is just like a fade. It doesn't give me a lot of structure. So there's nothing in here that I like. We have this previous, the London high marked out, and our previous session high. These look good. Why do I say these look good? For this looks good for a lower time frame target, with the potential that these could be in the sights. We also could see us run the previous day PM session and then drop. That's another option as well, because I like this as well. I like the Friday's equilibrium price. So either we could drop here right away, then we can take a trade off of that, or we could see it run up here and drop. That's option 2. We could also see it move above it, find support, and move higher. That's option 3. So these are the areas and directions. So now that we have, I basically gave you a couple different narratives on how price could play out, right? It could do either one of those 3 things, 4 things. It could just consolidate, okay? So now that we have a higher time frame target, now that we have a couple ideas from narrative, now we have to really figure out what model and what actually sets up. What does price do? Does it give us a clue on what it's going to do? Does it hit the London high and then start rejecting? If it starts rejecting, then I'm looking for my model in here to go short. Does it just start selling off right here, give us a little retracement, and then continue on? Well, we could take a model right here for previous day or for the Friday's equilibrium. How does it want to play out? That's the question. So now that we got our narrative, let's drop down to the lower time frame. Let's mark up our chart here. And let's see if we have an option for a 930 model here. We got 1 minute left before that. Nanya, what's up? How you doing? From Iowa. Well, welcome. Glad you're here. I got caught up in talking, folks. I'm not going to be ready for the 930 model. Did we sweep? If we swept this minor high right here, we have not swept that high. So I don't like anything as of right now. Did we sweep it? If we sweep that high, I like the 930. All right, so it swept it immediately, and then that would have played out, actually. But it's okay. Also, guys, Apex just announced an 80% off sale. They are currently doing an 80% off their Apex evaluation accounts. If you would like to check those out, you can use the code DTJ and get access to those if you would like. Okay? We're going to sit here for the first 15 minutes. We're going to let the first 15 minutes play out. I've found it relaxing to let the first 15 minutes play out and not worry about taking a trade. It has been refreshing. I'm not going to lie. It has been refreshing. So I'm going to let 930 play out, or we're going to let the first 15 minutes of price kind of just work itself out. And I'm going to make sure I get everything set up here while I do that, or while we wait. Here's London high. As of right now, it looks like it wants to run that direction. We'll see. Go ahead and mark out 930 here. I did not put on here the new day opening gap because there was no gap. It was just a line. I really don't care about a line. Yeah, I agree with you, Nyanya. Dominique, I do not explain the 930 model. It is for those that have chosen to be part of the Purpose-Driven Trader Academy. It is in there. I've described it. I play it. I have there is the high. All right, let's see if it wants to reject right there or if it's going to go for previous day high. Why do I say previous day high? Check out the regular trading hours. Okay, boom, right there. There's our regular trading hours. There's our opening range gap. And there's our PM session high. Beautiful, okay? That is the only, as of right now, it is the... it's a great model, but it's the one model that I do not teach out here in respect to those that have chosen to be part of the community and part of the Discord. All right, I'm going to do a test trade just to make sure I got everything ready to go here. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, it all works. All right, we're gonna do 5. We'll do 3 here on this one. And just to be conservative there. Okay. We are ready to go. No fair value gap. Yes, there is nothing yet. We're sitting here waiting. We got our London highs marked out. Got PM session to see if it really wants to reach for that or if we're going to roll over. Let's go back to electronic trading hours. Okay, we got that. I'm going to keep this, the opening range gap on the charts here, so we can get a full picture. We also do have a breaker down here. I like it because it's right after this, these relatively equal lows. And at the bottom of the opening range gap range. We'll see how it plays out. See what it wants to do there. Helps so that you're more patient and skip out on the nice run, so that if anything happens, you already miss out on that and don't FOMO the rest of the day. It's nice, relaxing, and helps with patience. Overall, I agree with that, Nanya. Can't chase it. Can't chase it. We can react from it. That's the nice thing here, folks. When you have a key level like that, Ted, is you can use it one of two things. You can use it as a draw on liquidity and trade it to it, or you can trade the reaction from it, which is nice. So you can, it's a nice way to look at it, to say that you won't miss anything. There's always another opportunity. Nanya, where's the Discord located? If you go to, it is part of the Purpose Driven Trader Academy. So if you want to join the Purpose Driven Trader Academy, there is currently, I have a discount, a coupon code. It's Risen for Resurrection Sunday, Risen 25. And you would just go to, here, let me do it. Go to dtj.com, dtjacademy.com, and use the code RISEN. You bet, my friend. Yesterday was a great day of trading for those that were here. We went 5 for 5. Yesterday's price action was unbelievably good. It respected everything. It ran to our levels. We had a 200-point trade. I just dropped a video talking about that trade for those that weren't here if you wanted to watch it. Now, I don't think we're going to have... I don't think yesterday is going to be today. I don't think yesterday is going to be today. Happy Easter. Happy Easter, Nanya. How's everybody else doing this morning? All right, we may, folks, have our first fair value gap right there. We're going to go ahead and mark that in anticipation. We got low resistance liquidity, so we ran that nicely. Now we got these two levels here, PM session high. And then if we are really going to go, we have our previous day high up here. And then my level I really like is that one. Now, we could not have to, we may have already had our manipulation. It could have been this right here, and then this is happening right now. I don't want to jump the gun and assume that's going to be the case. But it does not need to come back down here unless it wants to run the previous day low. It, in my mind, has done the damage on that pre-market drop. Right here, it ran all of these lows right here. Okay, so it's done the sell side damage if it has the intention on really wanting to move higher. And so far, that looks to be the case. We just need to wait for our time and then see if we get any indication in price that can support the idea of moving higher that we can jump and participate in. But until then, we sit and wait. And if we miss it, we miss it. There will always be another day. Another day, another trade. Another trade, another day. Previous day, PD, previous D day, previous day PM session. Took the nice reaction on London high towards previous day high. Nice. Let's, while we're sitting here, while we are waiting, let's drop today's affirmation on the screen. Nice. Way to go, Ted. All right, here we go. Here we go. Let me drop it. Let me drop it. Boom. I show up with excellence, not perfection. I release control, embrace the process, and trust that God's timing is better than mine. I trade today with purpose, not pressure. I trade with purpose, not pressure. Why are you here? Why are you here this morning? Bigger than just I want to learn to trade. What is the reason? Why are you trading? What is the motivation behind your journey in the day trading space? What's your purpose? Is it to provide a better life for your family? Is it to fulfill the assignment you believe the Lord's laid on your heart? What's the purpose? Let that be the reason and your motivation for being here. Show up with excellence. Do everything you can to do it with excellence. I tell my children this all the time. They say, I want to play football. I want to play basketball. I say, if you're going to do it, we're going to do it with excellence. So my son, who's 13 years old, has never played basketball before, wants to play basketball. And I said, all right, well, I'm going to give you drills. I'm going to give you a practice schedule, things that you're going to do over the summer. And if we're going to do it, we're going to do it with excellence. We're not going to do it just be like, oh yeah, I'm going to go pick up basketball. Yeah, there's a level and importance of that. But there is something about pounding the stone, I should say, going again and again to improve a skill, to improve yourself, to improve day in and day out so that you can do everything with excellence. We don't expect perfection. I don't expect him to be perfect, but I know that in the practice, he'll become significantly better than what he was before, simply because he's putting in the time. Embrace the process. Release control. Trust that God's timing is better. Trade with purpose and not pressure. That's going to be today's affirmation, guys. That's a good one. I like it. Hey, Tyler, what is your London low time? My London low time or level? London low time is right here. 2:03 a.m. I did, Ted, pass it to, I did drop it to 2 a.m. 3 a.m. works as well, but I did some research and I'm like, it's right. It's 2. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here. I'm not trying to make my own thing. So. Love the affirmation. More time and opportunities. I mean, I used it 2 to 5. I think Tyler uses 3 p.m. Fine. 3. No worries. Just was what I remembered. Yeah, I did that. You remember exactly right, Ted. All right, so we're greenlit to trade. We're ready to go. It's 9:45. I'm waiting to see if price wants to come up to this level right here. Previous day PM session high. How do we react to that level? That's my question. And if we're going to continue higher, where's our opportunity to get in? Okay. If it can come back and drop down here, I would look at that as a long. Or if it breaks through the first fair value gap, we can potentially look at some sell side liquidity down here. It's important to remember, folks, that every day, every trading day is different, and it's not the same. Just because I got 5 wins yesterday with almost no drawdown on any of them doesn't mean that happens today. Every market, every trading day has different set of circumstances, and it might not be as smooth or it might not be as clean. So we might wait for an hour and a half before our first trade. Who knows? But the point is that I'm saying is that patience is everything. Your ability to sit and be patient and wait. It might seem like we don't care about the market. We're just chit-chatting, talking about random stuff, or shooting from the hip, or whatever you want to call it. But we're really just passing time. We need to let time pass to give us something that says, ooh, I like this. But until then, there's no pressure. There's no pressure to take a trade. Toy Trade had a good comment the other day. She said, asked, are you confident in your losses? Were they good losses? Yeah, we came up with a new term. Who wants to share the term? We had a negative win today. I think was it Friday we had a negative win? And Thursday we had a negative win? A negative win basically is we had a loss, but it was a good loss. We had a good loser. We have a negative win. So if we take a negative win, we take a negative win. That's okay. That's part of the process. You look at all of the traders out there that talk about, they're doing $1 million days, which I'm not, or not $1 million days, but they're making millions of dollars. I'm not there yet. I'm on my way. I will be there soon. But all of them have losses. I looked at one. What's his face? Is it Jade? Jade. His win rate is 40%. I can tell you my win rate 70%. That's about my win rate. Let me be clear. It's 70% when I trade my models and I stay within my models. I will tell you that the last 2 weeks, though, with the tariff talks, it has not been 70% because the volatility has just been insane. I don't know who Ross is. But yeah, $18,000 loss. Whoo, boy. Yeah, with bigger gains comes bigger losses, folks. Be able to handle a $200, $500, $1,000 loss first without going on tilt, right? Can you imagine if you're going on tilt for a $1,000 loss, what are you going to do when you have an $18,000 loss? And you got more cash, right? It's a big deal to be able to manage your losses. So be grateful that you're not making that much if you can't handle your losses right now. Mary, you may ask. You are more than welcome to ask. We have a handful of models that we trade. We have the 930 model, which we trade every morning for the most part. That's a part of the Purpose Driven Trader Academy, so I don't teach that one. We have the breaker model. We have the inversion model. We have the 3 p.m. reversal ICT secret model that he hasn't shared, but I think I figured it out. We have the 30-minute reversal, and then we have an hourly reversal or continuation model. So in total, we have six entries that we can take. I'm currently putting together another small scalping model that I can use for really small accounts, but I haven't finalized those levels. Well, thank you, Nanya. I appreciate it. Small account, we're sitting around 300. I haven't really put much time into it. I will get back to it, but I want to put together a model that I can just take quick scalps with small amounts, so I can just be in and out. And I think a lot of it's going to be based on momentum. For example, I'll tell you the idea that I have on what I think I'm going to do with the model. It's going to be, let me give you an example of one, because I think I just need to make sure it's going to work. Here's a good example, okay? So London low. London low was hit right here. Oops. London low was hit right here, right? But look at this level that was made right next to it. Okay, so we had this level here. Do you see those equal lows there? From this over here to over here? Well, when you have equal lows like that, or a level that's really close, there's a good probability we're going to have a big push through it that's at least 10 to 20 handles. So when this candle ran through it, it didn't just wick past it and go back. It actually had a big push through it. So if you place your limit order just below or right at that lower level that hasn't been tagged yet, right here, there's 10 handles right there. So I'm thinking of a quick momentum scalp of, or a breakout scalp for just 10 handles is what I'm thinking about doing, because that happens, but there's a lot of different scenarios that it doesn't work, and I just need to make sure I have a clear grasp on when it will happen and when it won't. Ted, are you saying that that breakout model works well for the 30-minute opening range? I've thought about that, Jaehong. I thought about making a video on here are all my personal models that I use. If I do, I probably would do something where it's a general, get just the general scope of all of the models. But most of the models that I teach, or the stuff that I want to go in detail about, will probably be inside the course for those that are in the course. It was a model I got from a guy I was following in Discord. I was using the 20 SMA momentum plays. So my question for you guys right now is, based on what you've seen, do you feel like you missed out on an opportunity? Do you feel like you have to take a trade? Yes, Bannock, it's 80% off right now. I mentioned that earlier. For those that are here, it's 80% off Apex, if you would like to do that. You can use the code DTJ there, pinned in the chat. Dominique, what do you mean no? All right, so now what I'm looking at here, we ran the previous session high, previous PM session high. I see a breaker. Do you guys see that? Boom, 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 boom. Now here's what I like. I like this first fair value gap being right here. If we can break and close below it, and then come back up and tag London high, that would be my breaker to the downside. All right, so now I have a potential narrative. If price is going to come back all the way down here and it is going to show that it wants to displace lower, then I'm interested in it potentially running for the London or previous day low. That would be my interest. Now, I do know that London low has been ran already, so it doesn't have to run all the way down there. But if it's going to have a fake break type day, we aren't going to run this high and we aren't going to run this low. But can I take a small piece out of the market right here? Could I play till equilibrium of this price range? I could. Where is equilibrium on this? Right around 930. So could we potentially take a London high to equilibrium right here? That's 70 handles. That's a decent play, right? So we'll see if price wants to give that to us. And if it does, great, we'll capitalize on that. If it doesn't, and we get in the trade and it's a loss, then it's a loss. We take it on the chin. Oh, yes, sir. And that's what we want. We don't want to feel like we're missing out. Here's a small breaker right here. Too small. I think that it could just blow right through it if we were in some type of buy model that's moving higher. If we go to the 5-minute, we have not had a single red can or green black candle since except for this last one. $15-minute time frame. We got a 15-minute fair value gap down here. Does it go down to the middle of the opening range gap? It could. Yeah, I mean, if it's going to get down to equilibrium, there's a good chance it fills in at least a part of that opening range gap. 10 a.m. We don't have a reversal. 30-minute. We don't have a reversal or continuation entry for the 30 or 60-minute. So nothing to see there. Honestly, it does just look bullish right now. But the problem is, even with this, we don't have an inversion fair value gap, a bullish inversion. We don't have one. There's not a fair value gap in here. Yeah, the BISI on the 15-minute, which is about right in this area. But if the 15-minute is filled, it will hit that level. Here's that breaker. We're still at that small breaker right now. I don't like taking this because I see the strength and I have a higher time frame point of interest. If I want to see it if I'm going to see it fail, I need to see some significance and momentum in the candles. I need to see bigger candles to the downside. This is fine, but it just didn't get anywhere where we could do something. That's a good point. Look at the reference on that previous session high. The overlapping candles are just too much right now. So I think there's wisdom in even not even taking the trade. Even though we see something that could work out, I think it's better not to. Tight candles mean high resistance liquidity. So right now, I'd say we're in a high resistance liquidity going back and forth like this. We just need to see us get out of that type of price action and start getting bigger candles. So if we can get something like this, boom, really quickly, right up to that level, that would be of interest to run it down to at least the opening range gap right here. And we also have a breaker right here. So we could find support at that breaker. My higher time frame targets that I've shared before from the 1 hour perspective is this buy side liquidity up here, equal highs that we got inside the weekly volume imbalance. And then to the downside, we have Friday's equilibrium in price. Those are my two areas of interest. We just need to see and figure out which way does price want to go. Yeah, the macro, it looks like, even look at yesterday. Yesterday is a good example. Guys, there's nothing here that we're taking. There's just nothing there, okay? But I want you to look at the macro. We took two trades, okay? The first trade we took was right here. It actually had some movement. I mean, it still had 120 handles for a move, 130 handles. But this was at the 10 a.m. macro right here. This was the 10 a.m. macro. But even though it had some big movement, it didn't. It waited till the 11 a.m. macro. Here's the 11 a.m. macro right here. And then what do we get at 11? We get this big move. We were able to participate in that big move yesterday. But if we don't get something here at the 10 a.m., we just have to potentially wait for the 11 a.m. And if it doesn't happen at 11 a.m., then we wait till 12 p.m. Or we just get off the charts and we say, let's wait till tomorrow. I don't think we had any news, anything significant. Tuesday, yeah, nothing. Empire State Manufacturing Index at 7:30. And that is pretty much it right there. Stan, good morning. Tagging in right now. All right, let's rock and roll. Opening range break possibly happening now. So if we have the 30-minute range is from this low to basically this high right here. So the idea is if we break outside of that first 30-minute high and low, we can find support here and we could potentially move higher. Yes, 100%. I actually took a small scalp trade here this morning. As soon as we hit the London low, I took a trade right here. Now, we eventually went lower, but I just know that we're going to get a reaction and more than likely some type of reversal play. So I just took a quick scalp here this morning. But we have that move right there. Now, the question is, do we want to continue higher? If we are going to continue higher, I need to see a potential model. There's not even an entry for me to go higher. I'm not interested in just, clicking the button long and saying, yes, let's take the trade, let's make it happen. I need an inversion or a bullish breaker for me to take along. So if we do see a breakout right here, here's the breaker. High, low, higher high, low, high, lower, low, break higher, find support at this high, and we could continue higher. Okay? If we're going to do that, this would be the area. I like the fact that we left a fair value gap there. Do I want to take it right off if it comes back and tags it right now? Honestly, sometimes it's a good thing to take those because it could move aggressively. Other times, it just rolls over and continues lower. So I personally would rather see a little bit of an expansion, a comeback, retest, and then take that higher. Because why? Do we still have a higher time frame target? We have the previous day high is our nearest target. We have the first presented fair value gap for the week right here as well. We also have this breaker box, which we can still keep that in line because it hasn't been broken yet. So these are areas that we could see some resistance in. So if we can get something here to take up to here, that might be of interest. I'm 50-50 on if I want to take it, to be honest. Let's see how this candle closes. If we violate this inversion or violate this fair value gap, that is an inversion to the downside. I like that play as well with the low resistance liquidity we have right here. I almost like that better. All right, so that completely took the trade altogether. No opportunity. It already swept the low. So nothing here. Nothing right now. Still waiting. Patience is our friend. Patience is in our favor. We have patience and we can use it. So we don't have to take something here. We don't have to try which way is it going to go. Honestly, it's 50-50 right now. Which way does it want to go? I honestly don't know. I don't know. We have reason for it to move higher. There's potentially reason for it to move lower. These are the days where you need to be extra cautious and just careful and not just take some trade because, oh, there's the breaker. Boom, 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 boom. I'm taking it. I'm in short. I'm going for it. It may work. I don't know. It's just not enough movement. Even these two candles right here. Where did this candle stop? It stopped in the middle of this range. Like, I don't want to think I can figure out where it's going to go when we're in basically consolidation right here. Yeah, we broke out, but we immediately came back into the range. So patience is our friend here, folks. 0 trades on the day so far. Still waiting for that setup that looks good enough to take. Maybe the 1 hour reversal. Yeah, but we got to wait 42 minutes. We got to wait 42 minutes for that to happen. So what about the 30 minute? We could see if the 30 minute wants to do anything. We have 12 minutes for that. And then that would give us an opportunity on the second half of the hour. Yeah, for the 30 minute, it's a 3-minute entry. Oh, look at that. All right, so 2 options right now. If this fakes out to the downside and we don't continue, I'll take this inversion to the upside. That's my entry. If we close below the first fair value gap, I will look for an entry to the downside, potentially entering at the London high at the breaker. That's an option as well. But right now we need to see how, is this just a manipulation to get people out of the move before it moves higher? Or are we in fact displacing lower? The reason I say that is we just wicked into this 15-minute fair value gap. Boom. And if we are just doing a quick stab to pump higher, then we could see it move higher aggressively, and that's where this fair value gap comes in. I think our breaker has to be up here too. This breaker looks a little bit better than this one. All right, so there's our close. You could take this, but I'm not. Not a single retracement. Yes, you could have took it the first fair value gap, but I didn't even say I wanted to take that inversion. I wanted it to give me a retracement back up to the breaker, but it just straight fell. don't freak out that you have to take this right here. What this is telling me is, yes, it's moving, but it's also telling us the direction, right? I think it's telling me the direction. If it can give me something to participate in, then I can participate in this direction, right? Yeah, you missed it. Yeah, we didn't get anything, but it did tell us which way it's going. And that may not even be the case. This could have been straight manipulation. Look at the close on those candles right there. This candle closed on that low. This candle closed or opened and stayed above that low. So let's see where this next candle prints. Tag the breaker right here. Fill the opening range gap. So it could, at this point, move higher. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, we just had all this happen, but we just filled the opening range gap, came down to equilibrium. And we tagged the breaker. I normally wouldn't take this inversion right here on the first push higher and back down. Typically you get a failure swing and then go like that. But if it's aggressive, it could go without us. And that's just the risk. It didn't get back up to this breaker, so I'm not... If I had more confirmation, I would be interested in it. But it didn't... The only confirmation we have is the first fair value gap. It didn't even get to this low right here. So I'm not interested in going short right here. $30-minute did sweep or those fair value gaps there. We do have a breaker right here. When you can see both sides of the market, you just have to take extra time. You just have to be extra patient and make sure you know that it's running a specific direction. This gave us a clear indication it wants to move lower, but now I'm thinking, based on where it stopped, look at it. Look how it stopped on a dime on this low. Was this just another manipulation to move higher? Or are we in fact going to continue lower? I honestly don't have a clear answer. We do have it respecting the first fair value gap, but we didn't come any higher to a breaker or anything or London high. So we're only looking at the fact that it respected that first presented fair value gap. And that's just not enough for me to take this first fair value gap short. So this trade would be live right now, but I'm not taking it. This would be the trade right here, right? You went short on this candle, 1024 when it closed below it, and the trade would be live until it closes above it. And Ted, you got a good point. Watch the wick. Does it want to get past the midpoint right here? Cash is a position. I'm thinking to myself, I would rather miss a trade than get in something that's half-baked and end up taking a loss. At this point, I would call this a win. Even though we haven't hit the target, it's given 30 points. You could close the trade if you want. You can move your stop to break even. So there's a trade, just with the volatility, then how quick that happened, I just wasn't willing to take it. Byron, I think we're going lower. We could. I just don't have enough conviction yet. Keep in mind that the opening range gap is right here, and we filled it with this candle right here. So if this is a failure swing, this is an epic failure swing. We'll know it's a failure swing if we start closing above this. We also now have a bullish breaker in the form of this being a low and this being a lower low in the form of the bodies. Yes, this wick runs lower, but I'm looking at the bodies of these candles. So let's see if it wants to give us something like this. This is also a re-entry for that inversion. It respected the midpoint. I drop down to the 30-second here. If we close below this 30-second, I'll take that entry to the downside. But I'm expecting it to hold, if I'm honest. That's 9:30 right there. All right, so as far as this candle goes, we have a reversal candle on the 30-minute, and what we would look for is a 3-minute fair value gap. Here's our 3-minute fair value gap to the downside. If we think price is going to continue lower, this would be our entry. I like that. I'm bearish. I've just decided. I have the 30-minute reversal right here, which is overlapping with a breaker. I've decided what I'm going to take. Do you see how that just stood out to me? And it's clear. I could be wrong, but I like it. I have a 30-minute reversal pattern. That entry is right here to the downside. That 3-minute is also overlapping with this breaker sitting right here. So that's what I'm going to wait for. I've made my mind up. If it doesn't give it to me, I'm not taking a trade. Does that make sense, folks? You understand what just happened in my mind? That process that just happened? We're looking for our models. We're looking for overlapping confluences. We're looking for things that just make sense on why I would do something. And when I have a confluence like this with a 30-minute reversal and a breaker, it makes me say, all right, I'm going to be extra patient. I'm going to wait for this. Now, does it mean I'm going to take this right here? Probably not. I'm going to see if it violates this 1 minute. If it closes above the 1 minute, we could take that inversion to the upside right to here. But it's obvious that we're waiting until 11 a.m. We're right in the middle of the hour. And we'll see if price wants to get back up here. But I made my mind up. That's kind of what I'm looking for. So I don't think I'm going to take anything else. And to be honest, I might actually take it right when it hits this entry. Let's just make sure I'm not going cuckoo here. Let's look at some other time frames. This is ES. We just tagged the breaker here. You can see the reaction to it, to the downside. I want to see that push through it. I think what I'm going to do is I'll take a trade off of the 3-minute and this breaker here. But I'm going to have to see. I might be quick to take some profits because I do see reason for the upside as well. And it's just one of those things. If I don't have a clear draw on liquidity, which my only draw on liquidity to the downside is the previous day low and Friday's equilibrium. These are the only two. The upside has significantly more. Previous day high. We have the weekly volume imbalance here. We have the equal highs over here, and we have the daily volume imbalance sitting over here. We have Asia high from a few days ago sitting here. We have the opening range gap that has not been filled from April 2nd sitting over here. So there's reason for a move higher. There's reason for a move lower. So if I'm going to play based on the potential of it going lower, I'm just going to have to be a little nimble with my options. We also do have this low resistance liquidity sitting right here. All of this right here. So Mary, I'm glad it's helpful. Thank you. We are look at the respect of the first fair value gap so far, folks. What does this mean for me? It means if it does respect this and this is the breaker it is chosen to react to, which is also London high, well then we're gonna miss that trade. That's just what it means for me. The 5-minute, are you the bearish 5-minute right here? I mean, it looks good. I mean, it looks good. That's why it's the best option we have right now. Why is that a breaker, Byron? What do you remember we talked about? We talked about high, low, higher high. It breaks through it, and we take this right here between the high and the higher high. This right here, down movement before it makes a higher high, is called the breaker bar. Inside this bar is our breaker. It can come up in the most sensitive area is the low. So technically it could come up into the low, mess around all in here, and still respect the breaker. But we're looking at it, we're looking for additional confluences, 5-minute, fair value gaps, mitigation blocks, other models that support the idea that it would stop towards the lower end. And this 3-minute fair value gap is the thing for me. There is no, that's also a breaker as well. So you need to understand. So I'm gonna show you 3 different breakers. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All those are breakers. What we need to get good at is identify which one do we want to take. Okay, this one's good. Why? Because the first fair value gap and a fair value gap to the left of the breaker here. This one's also good because of the fair value gap to the left, fair value gap to the right, which this one also has one. And it also overlaps with the 3-minute or the 30-minute reversal. And it's just below this breaker here. So between the 3 of them, this one was my favorite. It's the one that stood out the most to me. Now, the other reason why I didn't like this one is we had this fair value gap right here. I really did not want to mess with going short here and it pushing higher right here. That would have put me in 40 handles of drawdown, and it could have still reached higher if it wanted. So I would rather miss this move, see if it's going to come up, and take my opportunity here. And so far, it looks like, crossing our fingers, it looks like we may have made the right decision so far. If we can get up to here, we can take our trade, put on our risk. Our risk is going to be somewhere around 40 to 60 handles. So here's 40. Do I want that to be my entry? This 40 handles incorporates this breaker right here. So I could get in on the middle breaker. Price could reach up to the higher breaker, and it would still be within my trade idea because of where I'm setting my stop loss. So I can kind of pick where I want to put my stop loss based on, or pick where I want my entry based on where the stop loss is going to be. So I like the idea of going on the higher end of the 3-minute. And that's what we're going to use for our entry. Let's see if we can get a little bit higher here. I'm going to go ahead and take that entry. And if it pumps right through it, folks, we were on the wrong side of the trade, and we'll probably be done. Do I think we're going to get all the way down here? Honestly, we could, but I really don't care. If we can get down to this low, I may take this trade just to right there, if he can give it to me. But we have a long ways before that happens. This candle itself is not looking very good if it closes green. We really want it to continue to close red right here. Wow. I don't think I can let this, I think I'm going to have to, I can't let this go negative on me now. I'm going to move my stop to break even after that. Specifically for drawdown on my funded accounts, I cannot let that run against me because it's already put me in drawdown. Judah, the egg witches are gone. I just gave it to Judah. I'm tempted to close this, folks. I'm going to close it. That reaction candle kind of just threw me off. And it's a giant wick for price to run in. We could still go in our favor, but I don't want to take the risk. And the reason for that is when we ran all the way down here and came back up, it automatically puts my contracts into drawdown. And that sucks. Yes, exactly, Ted. But it's the game I have to play. It's the game I have to play. And I'm willing to play it. So now I want to see, did I make a good decision? And let's see if it continues lower or not. Now, it doesn't mean I can't get in for another entry. I just wanted to secure that and actually close that trade altogether. So let's see if we can find something else and participate on the continuation. There's an option right here if we close below this 1 minute right there. I'm going to take one more entry here with it closing below that inversion. If it closes above that inversion, I'll be done. It looks like it is. Looks like it's going to stop us out. All right. We're going to be done on that. Still green on the day. I think we were patient to wait for that 3-minute entry. That wick of a candle, honestly, it threw me off. Let me rephrase it. Messed with my emotions. I don't think this entry was bad. I basically ignored this wick, but it violated it right away. So I think the market is just indifferent right now. It's not as clean and crisp as it was yesterday. But isn't it crazy how it turned on a dime here? Isn't that crazy? Mark. Hey, Tyler. This is Mark from when you first started. Remember, I used to watch you on the big screen, YouTube, rather than taking up one of my screens on my... Yep, I was one. Hey, Mark. Awesome. Thank you for the compliment. I really, really appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind, Mark, would you actually make that a comment on my channel, not just on the live stream here? The live stream comments disappear over time because they're the only way you can see the chat is if you're actually in the video. But if you wouldn't mind dropping that, I would greatly appreciate that as a comment on one of my videos, and then I can just save it, because I like to save the testimonies or the things that have helped people. It just encourages me. So what you're saying, Ted, is this is a demo trade. Hey, if I can get to the point where I can say I'm still holding this trade and there's no emotion in it, but I'm loaded, that's the day where you know you've made it. So, folks, think about something to think about. When you look at yesterday's price action and the trades that we took, and we look at today's price action, from a surface level view, it's not much different. However, we had to wait much longer for the trade that we took right here. And the other thing is, we also, from a surface level view, not much difference. But from a higher time frame draw and liquidity perspective, it's significantly different. In this trade, while this trade could still work out, it could. If it fails, then it's going to prove my point even more. We have interest to the upside and downside, and it's not very clear which one it's going to run for. So when you get a trade like this, right, when it's not very clear and this candle runs this low immediately and then closes back up here, man, I'm kind of moving in my seat. I'm wondering, did we just sweep this and are now going to start running the other direction? That's immediately what I'm thinking, because of how aggressive. It would have been completely different if we made our way like this and then sweep that level. I would have had a completely different feeling. But this one candle swept it, boom, closed up here. Then we proceeded to come down here and we closed down here. I'm like, okay, maybe I was wrong. And then immediately following that, we violate this inversion. Now I'm just like, who knows? The point is when you don't have a clear draw on liquidity, what's up, Viking? When you don't have a clear, not clear, because the draws on liquidity are clear. But when you don't have a single point of interest and you have multiple points of interest, one above and one below, it's now 50-50. It's a toss-up on which one it's going to go for. We don't know. We need the market to tip its hand to us. And for me, I thought this, and we still could be right. We still could be correct. I thought this was the market tipping its hand. Boom. It ran lower. And then we're like, okay, I'm going to wait for my entry right here. It was this candle that got me. This candle freaked me out because it swept this low and closed way up here. Now, we could still just roll over and continue lower, and then I'll say, oh, well, I was emotional, and I should have stuck with my stop loss at break even and just let the trade play out. I'll journal that depending on what happens in the next 30 minutes, basically. But when you have a bullish target and bearish target, it makes things more complicated. And it requires significantly more patience. And you're more than likely going to take less trades. I'm 90% positive I'm not going to take another trade. It's not clear for me. It's not clear. And where I wanted to get in, the only way I think I would take another trade is if we get back up here and we reject it and it gives me an inversion or a breaker to the downside. That's probably the only way I would take another trade down. But I'm not going to go short here. I'm not going to go short anywhere in here. It would need to come back up to this level, prove to me that it doesn't want to go higher, and then take that trade to the downside. Anything else is just, it would be speculation. You're speculating right now that it's still going to run to the downside. Here you're speculating. Even here you're speculating if you're taking the trade right here. I need to see the rejection with my model in here to support the down move. I don't even know if I'd want to take the long move because it could come all the way up to this fair value gap, hit this, and it could still reject. That's just the nature of high resistance markets. And this price action, other than this little bit of 15 minutes, everything has been just choppy. Yes, it's moving, but it's choppy. You look over here, was it choppy as well? I would say yes. It's not much different. The difference is we swept a big level right here, and we had a big level down here. So the draws on liquidity were obvious, and it made it a very easy trade to be a part of. And that's why we were able to get 200 points in 30 minutes. Over here, I'm literally just repeating myself because you get to hear this, but I'm telling myself this. This is education for me. Over here, we did the same thing. We hit this high and this high, displaced, but price isn't really wanting to move lower. Is that because it still wants to go here? Maybe it's a fake break day. Maybe we're just going to stay in the middle. We're at the equilibrium of yesterday's range. So it just tells me I need to stay out. I need to wait. Back and forth, exactly. Poor PA, but the thing I want you to take away with Raise the King is it's poor PA because we have a target above and below and it's just consolidating. It could have this price action, and if I had a clear target, I would take the trade if it had a clear target. If my model was in there. But it's not having a clear target that's also making it difficult for me. All right, Bannock, have a blessed day, my friend. And folks, I think what I'm going to do, I'm green on the day. I'm not buying much because I took that second loss. That took most of the profits that I had. I'm up about 20 points on the day. 20 points total. 20 handles. I think what I'm going to do is probably call it. Probably walk away. And if a move happens in the after I'm off, then great. What I'll probably do is come back around 3 p.m. to see if the 3 p.m. Reversal model shows up. See if that shows up at 3 p.m. But other than that, I probably will stay out of the market. And I'm saying this not because I want you guys to leave or I don't care about being on here, but I think this is a lesson not only me, but many other traders need, is if the charts aren't favorable to us, we need to have the ability to walk away. I'm talking to me right now because I don't like walking away. I have a personality that just wants to keep going. I'm going to do it until I get it, and it's going to be great. But I've hurt myself many times not walking away. And I want to be able to grow that muscle of recognizing price action and then being able to tell myself that it's time to be done and actually do it. So I'm going to probably close the charts and I'm not going to look at them till 2:45. I'm not going to look at the charts till 2:45 New York time. And no matter if this drops right now, even if it drops, what am I going to take? There's nothing here. There's no model for me to take here. So instead of just saying, oh, I think it's going to go now, let's jump in so we can be a part of it, save your gunpowder. Learn to walk away. Exercise that muscle instead of the muscle of clicking the button, because it doesn't take much to click a button. It takes way more strength to restrain yourself from clicking it. That's what I think we need to work on here today. So with that, folks, we're going to call it a day. I'm glad that you're here with us. Today was a great lesson. The entry we took for that 30-minute reversal was phenomenal. I mean, it was right off. I mean, who's taking a short when you got 3 giant candles moving higher? And then it literally flips and it runs 150 points almost. That's crazy. So we have the right idea. We have a big win on being patient, waiting for a model, waiting for the setup. Now it's time to exercise. The execution wasn't as clean, or the management wasn't as clean and crisp as we wanted. So we're going to walk away. So God bless you guys. Stay safe. Also, Apex is doing 80% off right now. You can use the code DTJ. And then lastly, if you're considering joining the Purpose Driven Trader Academy, I do have a coupon code RISEN25 if you would like to join the Discord as well as the Purpose Driven Trader Academy. God bless, guys. We'll see you all tomorrow, 9:15. We'll see you there.